Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Joel Frame, and I am the Imperfect Dad.
He's a dad and he's super rad. Sometimes he's good and sometimes he's bad. He's the imperfect dad.
Sounding good, looking good. I am ready to rock. Episode 4. What up? What up? Man, it's feeling good out here in Nashville. I got my hood up. I just took the trash out because I feel like that's one of my duties. I don't let my girl take the trash out because she shouldn't have to walk out in the cold. And so I like taking the trash out. Plus, I like the long walk down the driveway and the long walk back up. It's just kind of nice. And especially right now in October, which if you listen to the last episode, I declared October my favorite month. Now, when Thanksgiving rolls around, I might be singing a different tune. And that tune is called November is my favorite month. And then when Christmas rolls around, I might be singing another one of my favorite little ditties called December is my favorite month. You catching my drift? I love this stretch of 3 months. October, November, December. Then January can just roll over and die, and February, other than my wife's birthday, can roll over and die as well. Just kind of depressing months. Wow, I got real depressing right now. I'm sorry, guys. Let's bring it back up. It's been a fun, crazy little bit since the last time I talked to you all. And I'm going to try and fill you in real quick. The other day, the last day of Nellie's spring break, our oldest, our 3-year-old had our 3-year-old had dance class. And so it was a Friday morning. I had all 3 girls at home. It was fun, but it started getting kind of stressful. Our baby was sleeping longer in her morning nap than normal, and we had to get to East Nashville, which was about 12 minutes away normally, for dance class. But we also were going to go straight from there with all 3 girls. And I say we, I mean me, just me with the 3 girls because Tracy was at work. So I had to then go from dance class about 35 minutes north to some land that my in-laws have recently acquired. And we were going to be spending a work day up there. And so we were in it for the long haul that day. And I was running around like chicken with my head cut off, trying to get things together. And our baby was still sleeping. And at this point, we were like already going to be running late. And I looked at my oldest and I said, my oldest 2 girls, and I said, I don't think we're going to be able to make it to dance class. And they both gave me those doggone eyes, those eyes that just cut through my soul into the deepest part of me. And they just, oh my gosh, they just pierced through me. They both looked at me and they're like, but Dad, we were really looking forward to going to dance class. My oldest was like, I haven't seen her yet dance. I haven't seen her dance yet. I'm like, you see her dance every day, all day. That's all she does is dance. But you know what? We're going to go. We're going to make it. So I get the baby up, we're changing her, they're trying to help me. It's one of those things where they're not really helping, you know what I mean? So I'm just trying to be patient, and I get the kids in the car, and then I forget I have to run up to the garage, get a bunch of tools, because we're going to be working out the land all day. So I'm getting shovels and rakes and all kinds of stuff, and I get them in, and we're rushing, and then we hit traffic, of course, going up to freaking East Nashville, or hit all this traffic going up into there, and then we get to the dance spot, and we run inside, and the room is black because it's canceled. And I knew this. They had told me the week prior, and I just forgot, because that's what I do. I forget little things like that sometimes. And I was crushed, to say the least. My girls didn't seem to have much of a problem with it. I was on the brink of losing my sanity, and so I walked over to the bench and I set the car carrier down with the baby in it, and I sat down and I put my face in my hands like so. if you're listening to the audio version of this with no video, then just know I'm placing my face and my hands in 100% defeat. I sat there for a minute, and my oldest came up to me and she said, "Daddy, you were so late." And I looked at her, and I stared into her eyes, and I said, "I'm going to need you to take a quick time out. Take a quick 5. Step away from me, please. That is not what I need to hear right now." So she backed up. She backed away slowly. No sudden moves. And then she and her sister proceeded to then run around throwing a shirt up and down and knocking a ceiling tile out of the ceiling while I was trying to feed the baby a cold bottle of milk because I wasn't able to get into where I was, the dance class area, to warm the milk up. So she was drinking a cold bottle of milk, and every 5 to 10 seconds was gasping with brain freeze because it was freezing. The milk was. So she spit about half of it out, and that was really frustrating. And then we hopped in and I said, "We're swinging through Burger King because Daddy needs a Whopper." And we swung through Burger King. Daddy got a Whopper. It was gross, as it usually is when I swing through. About halfway through, every time I swing through a fast food place other than Chick-fil-A, about halfway through, I go, "Why do I do this? Why did I get this? It tastes like garbage, literal garbage. Like they just ripped it out of the dumpster and put it in a bag." But I ate it because I was hangry. And anyways, we got up to the land, and my in-laws, I thought were going to be there, but I had misjudged the time that they were going to get there. I'd misjudged the distance away that they were. And so they had about an hour and 15 minutes more, about an hour and a half more till they got there. And that didn't make things easy. Once again, I brought that on myself. That was no fault of theirs. But regardless, I was in the situation, and it was frustrating. And my youngest daughter, is screaming her head off, about 5 months old, because she is super tired. And I have no place to put the pack and play. My in-laws are bringing their RV, so the plan was to put it in there. But I got there way earlier than I was supposed to. And so I just opened up the pack and play and set it in a pile of dirt. And because that was the only place that didn't have really tall grass and hay sticking around. And I laid her in it, and she cried it out. And I hate that, but it was one of those things where I had to just let her cry it out. And she eventually fell asleep after screaming her head off for a little bit. I'd go over there and put her binky in, rub her head, kiss her, sing to her. She'd freak out. And I just had to keep doing that. I was right near her, but I just had to let her cry it out, because I had a bunch of stuff that I had to get done, and it was just one of those crazy moments. My other girls to run around, and I can hear them screaming at each other and fighting, and I'm trying to, deal with that. And then just as the baby's starting to fall asleep, my oldest comes up and says, "Dad, I gotta poop. And I said, "Why did you not tell me that when we pulled in so that we could have gone to a gas station?" And she said, "Because that was like an hour ago, and I didn't have to poop then." To which I said, "That's a really valid point. Very astute observation for a 6-year-old to make. Hats off to you, my lady." And so yeah, I said, "Well, you're going to have to hold the poop. Not in your hand, but in your belly." And then she did the little ants in your pants dance, when you gotta go. Your toes are curling, breaking out in cold sweats. If you watch the other episodes, you heard me make a quick mention of I have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. And that means that I poop more than the average human. And by more, I mean probably like 15 times more. And in nerve-wracking situations, it's worse. And so I understood how she felt, and so I immediately felt bad for saying you're going to have to hold it, because if somebody told me that, I would rabbit punch them in the throat. I am no stranger to pooping in uncomfortable places and very inconvenient situations. I am an expert at the art of drive-by pooping. So I always keep a roll of toilet paper in my truck, and if you don't do that, you're not an American. And so I get a shovel, and I say, Nell, let's go into the woods. And she's like, why are we going in the woods? I'm like, because you're going to poop in a hole today. And so I dig a hole, and it was kind of like this weird, like, less violent version of like a mobster movie, because we're like going out in the woods and we're like digging a hole, but we're not putting a body in it. We're just going to poop in it. And not we, just her. So I hold on to her wrists and I hold her over the hole. She leans back and she, with perfect aim, goes in the hole. We wipe, bury the poop, and we come back out. About 15 minutes later, my 3-year-old needs to go, because going to the bathroom is contagious for little kids. So I take her out into the woods, and she was a little more apprehensive about it because she's a little bit daintier. It's weird because she's totally fine with getting dirty and being super rough and stuff, but with certain things like this, she's just kind of scared of spiders. She kept saying, "What if a spider goes in my butt?" I said, and that's a really talented spider, and might need to call National Geographic because you were pretty high off the ground. And so, anyways, I'm holding her by her wrists over the hole, and she goes, perfect aim. And my oldest stood there and watched, and it was kind of a weird bonding moment. It was kind of made me realize the family that poops together, gags together, and feels a little bit more awkward around each other. But they're also a little bit closer because what more can you see, you know? And so we all just kind of gave an unspoken, let's not speak of this. Little do they know, Dad's got a podcast. And so we go out, baby wakes up, in-laws get there, everything's fine and dandy, but boy, was it a doozy of a morning. And I thought, man, I never want that to happen again, where I'm like, get there way too early and have all my kids, and timing is all off on everything. And that happened again this evening because I misjudged the time that my wife was supposed to meet us for dinner at McDougal's, the best chicken spot in Nashville. And we sit outside at a table, me and my 3 girls, and we're waiting on my wife. And I thought she was going to be there at a certain time. Ends up she wasn't going to be there for about another hour. And it was my fault, misjudgment on my part, but it was what it was. And so I was in a situation again. And I didn't bring any milk this time for my daughter, for my baby. I brought a little bit of sweet potatoes, but I didn't want to give her those because my wife's breastfeeding and kind of having a little bit of a tough time with that, with a little nursing strike right now. And so I don't want her to be full when her mom gets there because I want her to be able to feed her. And so I'm trying to hold her off. My other 2 are running around in this little back alley area, kind of sketch, but what can you do? And I'm keeping an eye on them. And there's some weird strangers, patrons of the restaurant, not just random people, but I think they're kind of trying to help me out. So they're talking to the girls, and that always ends up kind of weird. And I'm trying to monitor the conversation. I'm like, yeah. Cool. Thanks for showing us pictures of your dog on your cell phone and scrolling through your cell phone with my kids and stuff. I really appreciate the gesture. That's really sweet. But I don't really know you. And I don't want some weird picture to pop up on your phone. I don't know what your lifestyle's like outside of the chicken place. So I'm always just I appreciate that. Don't get me wrong. I love when people step in and like try and help and stuff, but I just try and keep a close eye on it. Try to monitor it pretty closely. It's kind of stressful. So a little bit rolls by. My girls come back and they're like, "We're hungry." And I'm like, "I know, we're waiting on your mother though." And about 2 minutes after that, I said, "You know what? Forget it. Mom can eat when she gets here. We're we're gonna go ahead and order. And it takes a little bit anyways to get the food because it's like a wing joint, chicken and wings and all that stuff, and it's the best wings in Nashville. I haven't had better, but I don't know. So we go in, and as we're ordering, I'm holding Georgia, our baby, and she's not very excited because she's pretty hungry and she's tired at this point, getting close to bedtime by time. And my oldest two are jumping around like they were raised in a barn. And I said, girls, you need to stop now. Daddy's ordering. He needs you to help out. Please stop. And there's like 7 or 8 people behind me. And so I'm ordering, and all of a sudden, the earth shakes. And I thought, what was that? Was it dynamite? Mm-mm. Was it C4? Mm-mm. Was it one of those little black bombs that you remember in the video games with the little wick coming out the top? No. What was this explosion? Oh, it was my 3-year-old's forehead on the edge of the counter that we were ordering at. And I looked down, and both of them are looking up at me. My oldest had picked her up and tried to kind of throw her up, and when she did, just smoked her forehead on the counter. And I just looked at them, and I had nothing to do. I had nowhere to go. I didn't know what to do. I had the baby. And they're both looking up at me. And Eddie's looking up at me like, trying to fight back tears. And I didn't know what to do. And I was so frustrated. So I just said, hey, that's what happens when you don't listen to Dad. I told you to stop, and you didn't, so now you have a mild concussion. And it was just one of those moments where I had to just kind of let it ride. I just had to let the head injury ride, because I had the baby. I'm ordering. I got all these drinks and all this stuff they're trying to give to me. I got all these people waiting, huffing and puffing behind me. I wish somebody would just came up and just started showing them random pictures on their phone like the other people outside. That would have been convenient. Anyways, we go outside and we get the food. Finally, they bring it out, and I don't mean finally. When they brought it out eventually, I was super excited because the wings are just so good, and wings are like my comfort food. I love wings, and fried traditional. There's no other way to do it. If you do boneless, you are not American. And if you do grilled or smoked wings, you are also not an American, probably. And anyways, so my baby is, she's real grabby. She loves grabbing things now. And I'm off my game a little bit because I've been on the toddler and like little kid train, and I've been off the baby train a little bit. And so I'm off my game a bit. And so when they set the wings down, I'm getting other things in order, and she grabs my basket of wings, and we're sitting outside, and she dumps them upside down on the sidewalk and covers them in grass and leaves and dirt and other fun little things. And I just threw them back in the basket. And I said, looks like you're having a little extra protein and fiber on this one. And as I get the basket back up, she grabs onto the ketchup container, flips it over, and we're at one of those black iron tables with the holes in it, and all of the ketchup goes through those holes, onto my pant leg, and into the open diaper bag that is sitting under the table. And so at that moment, I kind of backed away with the baby just to get her clear of anything else that she could grab. And my oldest could see on my face that Daddy's about to have an aneurysm. And so she says, she's so sweet. She's such a cute little helper. I just love her to death. She said, Dad, can I get you some paper towels? And I said, yes, please. If you could, that'd be wonderful. Thank you, baby. So she gets me some paper towels. I start cleaning this stuff up. I get it cleaned out as best I can out of the bag while I'm holding the baby. She's whining and crying. get everything in order. And then my oldest then isn't really paying attention, and she flips her basket onto the ground, grilled cheese and French fries. And I said, looks like you're going to have extra fiber and protein on your meal as well with Daddy. And she was a trooper. She ate it and didn't say a word about it. And it was just kind of one of those things. And then my wife showed up, and I gave her the look of, I got to get out of here for a minute. So she took the baby, and she did awesome. And I went in and grabbed a little refill and just kind of took a quick breather, sat outside in silence for about 5 minutes while I just wolfed down these wings. And then I felt better. And we talked it out, and all was well. But it was a crazy evening. And things have been kind of crazy, but they've been good. You know, a lot of people have a lot worse situations happening, and I think about that a lot, and I try to make sure that I always remember my place. And but things get crazy. The other night, the girls were running around the house, sound like they had tap shoes on, and I thought, that's weird. They don't have tap shoes. And we inspected, and upon further inspection, we noticed, oh, we just forgot to cut their toenails for like 3 weeks, and they have now curled under their toes, and so you can hear them running around the hardwood floor like little dog claws, just little toenails. I'm just kidding, it wasn't that bad, but they were, you know, like when you don't cut them for a little bit, they start to kind of curl under, and if you did let them go like that, they would curl under the toe, and then you think, gosh, I'm a terrible parent. We're not terrible parents, guys. We've got bigger fish to fry, okay? Got other things we're dealing with. And, but it was one of those, you felt like you dodged a bullet, you know? It was like, thank goodness DCS wasn't driving by and just like, let's swing in this house, see what's popping. Who's in charge of toenail maintenance around here? You? Cool. Hop in the back of the paddy wagon. We're taking you in. It was one of those moments. And, man, yeah. And my wife the other night shot me a quick text when she went into bed, and she said, when else is it okay to smell someone's butt? And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, when I go in, I always lean down into the crib and smell George's butt to make sure she didn't poop in her diaper. And I thought, that's a really good thought. It's kind of the only situation where you can get away with just sniffing someone's butt and it not be real weird. Some people might think that's weird. I don't think that's weird. She's just trying to make sure the baby's not sleeping with a poopy diaper. But it's just been kind of a crazy week. And I'm sorry if I sound a bit all over the place. The reason I sound like that is because I am a bit all over the place. I got a hoodie on right now. The hood's up. I'm burning up. But I don't want the video to be weird with half of it with me not with it on and half of it with me with it on. So I'm just leaving it on. Life's crazy right now, y'all. But guess what? The other night, and I'm going to end with this, we had a beautiful evening. We did breakfast for dinner. And if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, you would have seen that. At Dad Imperfect. If you don't follow me, do it now. Also subscribe to this channel if you could real quick. Just click subscribe under the video and share it. Anyways, I was doing breakfast for dinner the other night. I was making pancakes, bacon, and eggs, and I finally locked in the greatest recipe for pancakes that I've ever made, and I think that I've ever had. And so I'm really excited about that. If you're interested in knowing more, hit me up, write me a message. I can send you a little tip and trick that makes it just the best. And so anyways, I was making those, felt good. Breakfast for dinner is always just a great thing. My buddy Matt calls it Brinner, and we'll just call it Brinner. And so we're making Brinner, and we're having a movie night, and just super excited about that. We're going to be watching, it's a great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, which is just my favorite. I'm very traditional with, or I have a lot of, I wouldn't say I'm traditional. I have a lot of traditions that I like to do. And so leading up to Halloween, I like to watch It's a Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. And then I like to watch it's Thanksgiving Charlie Brown, and then for Thanksgiving, and then I like to watch it's Christmas Charlie Brown. Is that what it's called? Charlie Brown Christmas. And I love it. I love those. And when we watch them, I feel like we're just so close as a family, and my heart is just so full when we watch those things and we eat Brinner. And it was just one of those nights where I got a quick reminder and just kind of stepped back and was enjoying the smell and the taste and the sights and everything that evening in the house, because Brinner always just smells the house up so nice. Bacon, it smells the house up for like 2 days, and it's such a glorious, majestic smell. My goodness, bacon, you are amazing. And it was good bacon too. Anyways, so I was kind of taking everything in, and I just thought, how many moments like this am I missing? Because I'm too caught up with making sure that everything else is in line or in order, or things are cleaned up, or, got to do the dishes, got to do all this, that. And for what? For pomp and circumstance, or keeping up appearances, or keeping up with the Joneses? Who are the Joneses, by the way? I don't know. Why we spend so much time, I feel like, doing, I don't want to say unnecessary things, but our priorities are off when we do certain things. And I feel like while the kids are awake, we need to be setting an example for them doing certain things, obviously, so they can see us and we're teaching them. And, maybe you include your kids in doing the dishes. We try and do that sometimes. But anyways, I feel like so many times our kids are in a room doing something, or wanting us to do something with them. And I'm like, well, hold on, Dad's got to do this and that. And when I really look at those things, I don't have to do those at that moment. I can do it when they go to bed, or I can do it the next morning or whatever. And so that night was just kind of a good reminder. And so I want to encourage you all. What are you being kind of overly anal about, overly obsessive over, that's unnecessary to do while the kids are awake? And how is that taking you away from your kids? I do it a lot with a lot of different things. And the worst is when I do it with social media stuff. When I'm like on Instagram or Facebook or something with the kids at home, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. I hate doing it. And I know a lot of people who just obsess over things being perfect and keeping up appearances and cleaning when they don't need to clean, and they become such good stewards, or such obsessive stewards over these certain things, that then their relationships start to struggle because they're not focusing on the stewardship of the relationships around them. And I think that's really, really important for us to think about and do. Why are we obsessing over these little things? And why are we putting these things priority over our relationships, and especially over our relationships with our kids? If I'm doing the dishes and my kids want me to sit down and watch a show with them, or watch a movie before they go to bed, or read a book or something like that, I need to just have the willpower to go, yeah, okay, these can wait, and I'll finish these up after they go to bed. Anyways, my heart's been kind of crying over that a little bit, and so I encourage you all to look at what's going on with you, what you could kind of change around in that area. And I'd love to hear how that's going. Write me on Facebook and let me know if there's anything that I'd like to hear. What are some things that maybe you're putting priority over your kids, and maybe if you make a change or make a decision to switch those things up, let me know how it goes. And anyways, I'm gonna wrap this one up. I, as always, love you all so much, and I appreciate every single one of you who listens. I've been getting so many encouraging messages and calls, and Facebook messages, text messages, emails from a lot of people that I don't even know, which is really cool. And you all have just been so encouraging and supportive, and I'm really, really appreciative and thankful. So thank you, and I really do. I love each of you, and I'm thankful that you're along for the journey with me. You know, parents and not parents and whoever. We have so many different people listening. It's super exciting. And so, anyways, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And then also, if you haven't done so already, if you could just go quickly onto the podcast iTunes store and write a quick review. Give a rating of the podcast. Just search the Imperfect Dad. It'll pop up, and give a rating and a review. It helps a lot. And so it helps a lot for the publicity of the podcast. And so, anyways, subscribe and share on Facebook if you can. Just share it, the videos. And yeah, we'll keep this train rolling. I love you all so very much. And I am so excited to see you all next week. And yeah, I'm going to start putting up the vlogs very soon here, and put up a bunch of pictures today from the library. And so make sure you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Dad Imperfect. And yeah, I'll see you all soon. Love you. Signing off, the Imperfect Dad. Peace out.
He's a dad and he's super